All right, back with the Real Estate Radio Show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams Realty Boise. If you've missed any of the programs, remember you can go to chrislofthus.com. That's CHRISLOFTHUS.com, and always to reach out to Chris, 350-6228. Our guest today is Mac Harris, Innovative Rock and Water. And this is one of those shows where, in essence, we could talk to Mac the entire time we're here. There's just so many cool things, Mac, that you do. How about water features and ponds and maybe a little bit? My wife always talks to me about, we got to get a swimming pool at our place. Or I hear people say, well, what about our old swimming pool? You actually do swimming pool remodels?
That's right. We don't actually build pools because we have a lot of friends that are contractors, pool contractors, but we'll go in there and, if the deck is cracked or the tiles coming up and people want a fresh look, we can give them a nice fresh look with stone accents, new cut stone patios, and that sort of thing, and completely make it look like a brand new pool when we're done, for a lot less cost.
Well, I was just we were talking at the break, discussing that, and I think it's one of the biggest concerns, Dave, with people in general. When they come, they start talking to us and they start looking at a house, and I was discussing our pool at our house, and I was starting to see the tiles fall off, and it's 9-10 years old, and it's a concern because they look at it and they say, we want to buy this house, but we have this pool, and that's a good time to bring Mac in. We discussed that. Talk a little bit about the remodel process. If you're buying a pool that's, say, 10 years old, so it's obviously out of warranty, you're not going to have anyone to go back to, basically, and you start talking about gunite pools, like our pool, and you can kind of see it's starting to, there's some wear on it, especially when you talk about the freezing and everything else, and I think that's part of the issue with the tile at our house. We discussed what's going on with why the tiles falling off, and touch a little bit on that of what's the process of the remodel.
Well, if it's just a simple repair on tile, you'd probably want to go to a pool company for something like that. But if you want a fresh look, okay, so then we can come in, we can either transform your decking that you have. Oftentimes, you'll have cracks going through your decking, but overall the decking's okay, but the cracks are bothering you. We have a process where we actually carve up your existing concrete, and then we put a little surface over the top of it and make it look like a cut stone patio.
Sure.
And that's less expensive than ripping out and pouring new. And it's never going to fail again because it's, concrete cracks. So we put in a lot of cuts, it will never crack again.
Sure.
And it takes care of your problem. And then as far as your tile and stuff, we can wrap our stone right around into the pool and have that instead of tile, you have a stone coping that goes around the pool.
Right. Well, and a lot of times, too, we have people, and you can touch on this, Matt, because I don't even know if it's possible to be done, but I've had people ask, they say, we're buying this house, this pool's 15 years old, and, can you drain the pool? You have these things, I guess they call them cobble shelves, or a little shelf where it's maybe 2-3 feet deep where the kids can play on it, or people can sit on the edge of it and still be in the pool but not be totally submersed.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You guys do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we can add into them and change the whole shape of the pool if you want, the interior of the pool.
Yeah, that it's an important thing because people are concerned about it, that the pool's falling apart. We had one crack right in half, a vanishing edge pool crack in half an Eagle a couple years back. But
right.
Discuss a little bit too about the water features. And I know you do them, but you also will come in. Will you come in because we have a problem with these all the time? People buy a house and they say it won't hold any water. So they have it. Is this something else you do? You'll come in and rehab a water feature as well? Yeah,
we do. I actually have a guy full time on my staff that it's all he does is go around and fix other people's waterfalls. And we've gotten very good. And because of our concrete, we bring in a different solution. Oftentimes, what causes waterfalls usually to leak is natural stone will settle on their berms and the water runs off the liner or pokes a hole in the liner. With our rock work, we can sculpt into match the existing stone and divert the water, do the repair, and you can never tell what we've been there. That's the beauty of it.
Mac, one of my favorite things about all the different vendors of Chris's I get to meet, I get to find out unusual things. What is maybe the favorite sculpting piece or something that you've done that's really unusual that you go, yeah, Dave, that was pretty cool. I did this particular piece. What might that been, or is there a couple of them that you
there's
really
been a
jumped
lot,
out? Yeah.
One that pops in my head was is a double helix. Do you know what that is?
No.
A double helix is what makes up our DNA. It's that twisted ladder that spins around. Okay, so if you think about that, that's a pretty cute water feature because I built one that's 6 feet tall. We ran our plumbing in it so that it comes out the top of the ladder and then splashes down on the rungs. So it's a unique water feature because it's
cool.
visible from all sides. It's see-through, so it can be in a park. This one we put in, and he was a surgeon. We put it in front of his home.
Right.
and the sidewalk goes around it. That's pretty unique.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I think that we kind of think what you're saying, Matt, because it kind of is. It ends up being whatever you can imagine. You pretty much can do.
Yeah, we do several master bedrooms with rock inserts into the bedroom, and then usually a waterfall in the shower. Ever tried to take a waterfall for a shower? It's a pretty awesome experience, actually.
Well, I'm liking the sounds of that. So, Mac, what kind of walk us through the process of, and I'm just going to use this because I'm guessing based on what you said your kids do with the fire parties and the things that go on. So somebody reaches out to you and says, yeah, I'd like a fire pit and I'd like you to work on some of my water features. So they're going to reach out and call you. What's the process? How do you walk them through your steps so it becomes their step?
Yeah. Well, it's either I have Michelle, who's a landscape architect that's on our staff, or myself. One of us will go out and we meet with the clients. We get to know them. We listen to them and see what their desires, what their needs are, and then from there we develop a plan and a project, and then we break that project down based on their clients' budgets, their ability to afford, and take it into steps so that they can afford it as they need to, as they want to.
And the best way they can, like I said, I keep telling them to look at the website. I spent a lot of time on that yesterday, but I like the videos and the pictures you have on there. It's innovativerockandwater.com, where you can call 888-7720. 888-7720. And I love your story. We always say, hey, we had to leave to go learn all that creative schooling, and then we want to come back home, and that's what you've done.
Yeah, it is. We, I got into sculpting about 12 or 14 years ago. I saw it down in Las Vegas and admired it. I hired my own architect or sculptor, master sculptor, to come out and teach me, paid a bunch of money, learned enough to be dangerous, and then I started learning my craft from there. And, it's 15, 18 years, and we've really gone a long ways.
Yeah, that's awesome. Chris, you had talked about something last week where somebody will literally say, I love this house. They'll pull up to the house to go look at it, and then when they pull up to, I don't want to go into it. I don't want to look at it.
Right.
Based on, I'm guessing that sometimes people will see backyards, like you said, outdoor living area, and go, I want that house because of that backyard living area.
Probably the biggest thing we see, and I think it's kind of a more of a, as a guy, you look at it this way, as you say that it's kind of a hidden thing. So like you take, houses that we've seen, and you'll look at, husband and wife will look at 3 different houses, and the wife sees the great kitchen, right? And so he's kind of keeping quiet because he wants the second house, the one with the man cave outside and that has the TV outside and the pool and all that stuff, because he wants to be outside and hang out with his friends, watch football, or whatever it is, right? And we discuss that. Well, and you see him, and they just kind of like, they steer him towards, she's going to make the decision anyway. And she says, what do you think about this one? He says, sure, but that's the thing, that there's a very distinct people. When you start looking at houses, if you can make your house stand out amongst the competition with the little inventory that's on the market right now, you're going to sell it.
It's innovativerockandwater.com, and Mac, they can send you an email as well.
Oh, yeah.
How's the best way to do that?
It's mac@innovativerockandwater.com.
And you're okay if I give out this cell number? Is that
sure?
I give out Chris's and it rings like crazy. 794-4083, 794-4083. And Mac, I guess I know there's a number of mistakes we make, but what would you say in terms of when somebody gets ready to do this, says, okay, I want to have a water feature, I want to do a rock wall, what might be the biggest mistake that people would make besides I'm going to do it myself? Or maybe that just is. What would be something, because I'm guessing you have to go in and fix what the husband tried to build or something.
We've had that, sure. Yeah. Well, the biggest mistake is not calling us. No, I'm just kidding.
It is true, Mac. You discuss this. We discuss this all the time, Dave, about being realistic. And people say, I'm going to do this myself, or I'm going to look it up online, and you would be shocked what you can find on YouTube. And so people start doing it. But Mac, the thing is, just like with just like we talk about Burton Free's remodeling, inside of his house, he does some kitchen work and bath work. But he says, you know what? It's more expensive. You're going to waste your time. You're going to screw it up. It's going to be more expensive to have us come in and tear it up. Wouldn't you agree?
It is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it wastes everyone time. But the good news is that the warranty things, I think, is a huge thing.
Yeah, but on the other note on that is 30% of our business probably is customers that have waterfalls, they have ponds, and they weren't built well, and so they have problems, and they just don't like them. They're not that pretty. They look like a stack of rocks. Someone looks like a dump truck came in and dumped it and threw water on it. Mm-hmm. And we can come in and renovate that and use their natural stone with our skill and our sculpting abilities to create a completely new scene without having to rip the whole thing out.
Right.
All of a sudden, that makes a big difference. And instead of just a gravel pond with gravel covering up your liner, we concrete in, but we make it look like mud banks and rock outcroppings, and it all of a sudden becomes very clean, and you can climb in your pond, you can be part of it, and it's not going to fall apart. You're not going to slip on some gravel. You're not going to tip over a rock and hurt yourself, which is one of my clients. That's how we got him. He almost cracked his hip because he was stepping on his pond and he fell, and he says, never again. And so we went in there and renovated it. It's all very solid and friendly.
You know, it's kind of cool. Just something else real quick I want you to touch on, because we discussed this last week when we were talking about you coming on the show. You guys are now doing real freshwater swimming, I guess, ponds or pools.
Swimming ponds.
Well, you can actually swim in it. It's got real grass. Discuss a little bit about that.
That's a kind of a cool concept. It came out of Europe, and it's starting to catch on in the U.S., and we're bringing it to Idaho. But it's a swimming pond. It's a pond. It's got you have all your landscape around it. It's a real free form area. The one we're building has got a 5-foot swimming area, 5 foot deep, about a 15 by 15 area. The difference is we're not using chemicals, and we have this biofiltration system that is large, so it takes a little bit of space, admittedly, but it's going to be full of plants and some fish, and it's going to create that whole scene of a pond, but yet we're going to have really good quality water that is going to be fun to swim in. And it gets heated naturally by the sun. It's a very green product.
Right, Dave, and it's true, because we're talking about, whether it be a pool or pond would probably be better for you. But you discuss
irrigation ditch is what I use. I mean, hey, I'm an Idaho boy, right?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, but I think it's really unique. I mean, he was discussing it, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, Mac, what a splendid guest. I'm just thrilled that we got to meet you today and hear about all your stuff.
Thanks.
It's innovative rock and water, and I underline innovative, especially if you just heard the part about the pond that's a pool. I like that. Go to innovativerockandwater.com. And Mac, before we go, why don't you give your number one more time so folks know how to reach you?
It's 888-7720.
888-7720. We'll continue on with the show right after this timeout.